Are taxes threatening retirement security? I'm joined by David McKnight of Power of Zero to break it all down for us. David, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So that seems like a big question to unpack, obviously, and you've spent years actually warning about the dangers of tax-deferred retirement planning. Why do you believe taxes represent one of the greatest threats to retirement security right now?
Well, if you just look at the fiscal trajectory of the country alone, over the next 10 years, we're going to be increasing by $2 trillion in debt per year. By 2035, it'll be $3 trillion per year. According to a recent study out of Penn Wharton, they said that if we don't right our fiscal ship of state by 2043, that no combination of raising taxes or reducing spending will prevent the financial collapse of our country. So a lot of experts are starting to sort of march to the beat of the same drum saying, look, taxes have to rise dramatically or we could go broke as a country. And so a lot of experts believe that former Comptroller General of the federal government, David Walker, said that tax rates have to double or we could go broke as a country. So a lot of people think that by 2035 they're going to have to phase in tax increases so that by the time 2043 rolls around, we don't have that day of reckoning where we have to raise taxes all in one year. So I think for people who are doing the lion's share of their savings for retirement and 401ks and IRAs, they have to sort of take account of what the fiscal landscape is as far as tax rates go.
Well, let's talk about that, obviously, because with the new tax legislation and ongoing changes in Washington, has the roadmap to tax-free retirement changed, and if so, how?
Well, I think the danger there with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is that they said, hey, this is a permanent tax cut. They basically extended the Trump tax cuts from 2017, which are like near historic lows. So people may have this false sense of security that tax rates are going to be low in perpetuity. But as you know, as far as the IRS tax code goes, there's no such thing as a permanent tax cut. Everything's written in pencil. So it could happen as soon as a new president is in the White House, we could have higher taxes. So I think that by 2035 taxes have to go up, so I think people should plan accordingly.
So quell that fear a little bit, because when you hear taxes go up, the instant reaction for a lot of folks is going to be, oh no, not oh yes.
Right. Well, so there's a lot of things that you can do to prepare for something like that. There's $45 trillion in the cumulative IRAs and 401ks of Americans all across the country. There's only about $1.5 trillion in the cumulative Roth IRAs. And so I think more Americans need to start thinking about converting money to Roth between now and 2035. And I think there's plenty of time to do it. There's no need to be too scared too fast. We got plenty of time to get it all done. But let's start today and take account of the fiscal trajectory of the nation.
And the reality is most Americans have been taught to actually defer their taxes for as long as possible. So why do you believe that conventional wisdom may be a bit flawed?
Yeah, well, so when you put money into a 401k or an IRA, it's a bit like going into a business partnership with the IRS, and every year they get to vote on what percentage of your profits they get to keep. Not a great business partnership, if you ask me. So the idea is that you pay taxes at today's historically low tax rates, pay the piper while taxes are on sale, so that by the time taxes do potentially rise down the road, you've done all the heavy lifting, you can then take that money out tax-free. So that's really the philosophy.
Well, it really sounds like folks just really need to be proactive then at this point. Then what maybe are some of the biggest retirement planning mistakes even financially successful people are making right now?
Yeah, I think that one of the things is people are really addicted to that tax deduction with the 401k and IRA. They love that tax deduction. They love saving on taxes at today's historically low tax rates, but really what they're doing is they're postponing the payment of that tax to a point in the future when all the experts agree tax rates are likely to be dramatically higher than they are today. So I think that we just have to be a little bit more thoughtful about when we get that tax break. Do we want the tax break now or do we want it later? And I think that when we become more aware of the fiscal trajectory of our nation, that decision becomes a little bit easier.
Well, certainly giving folks a lot to think about. David, thank you so much for your perspective.
Thank you for having me.
For Wealth Management, I'm Shannon Rossick.